few months ago, I've uploaded a video about my everyday carry. And in the comments of this video, a lot of you asked what tools I use to label my items and why I label my items. So I thought, why not create a small little video about that and show you all the tools I use to label my items and explain to you why I label my items. So maybe let's start with why I label my items. And there are actually a few reasons why I label my items. One of the reasons is that I think it looks cool. I think it's aesthetically pleasing to have an iPhone and on there is a label with the date you bought it on. I also like how it looks on this Leatherman, for example. I think it just looks cool that there's a date on it, and I always know how old this item is and how long I have this item for. It not only looks cool, the first reason, but the second reason is also that I know how old the items are, and this gives me kind of a perspective. I also think it's kind of romantic in a way that, you know, at some point someone will find this item or I will give it on to, I don't know, a friend, a child, whatever, and they know exactly from what time this item is. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think it's cool. And with that, we are already at the tool part of the video. I will show you in a second the most used labeling machine by me. I really enjoy this labeling machine. It's this right here. It's the DYMO Omega. It looks a little bit like a spaceship from Star Trek, I know, but it really isn't. It doesn't even have batteries, so it's a fully mechanical device, which is also awesome because it will probably not just fail to work unless you physically destroy it. And yeah, this one just uses force to produce the labels, which is pretty cool, I think. It's also not that expensive. It costs around 10 to 20 bucks depending on where you live, where you buy, stuff like that. You know the drill. By the way, for all the tools I will show in this video, I will have a link in the description. It will be an affiliate link, of course, so if you want to support me, you can buy the tools through the links, and I would thank you a lot for that. But back to the Omega, you can also buy the bands for this one. I think you pay $5 for 3 bands, so I think it's okay. I mean, a band holds around half a year for me. If you label extensively, probably not half a year, but I think $5 is okay. You can also buy those bands in different colors. I think DYMO itself produces black bands like this right here, red bands, green bands, and blue bands. And you can also buy various other colors from third-party manufacturers, but I haven't tried those third-party bands, so I cannot tell you if they are any good, but at least the bands from DYMO itself, pretty good, works pretty fine, and it looks awesome, you know. With this dial right here, you can dial in the letter or the symbol that you want to stamp. And with pressing the handle, you push a stamp into the band and therefore it imprints or it presses the letter or the symbol into your band. And this is how you can get this specific 3D look. It's a 3D look. It's not only printed on there, it's stamped in there. And this is, I think, the look I really enjoy about those labeling bands from DYMO. And because I know that you will like the video right now, here's a pro tip with the DYMO Omega. If you use the DYMO Omega and you have fully written out the word that you want to label, don't cut it off right away. You should make one more spacebar right here, and then after that extra spacebar, you can cut your labels. Why? Well, if you cut your label right away, the cut will be very, very close to the last symbol or the last letter that you stamped into the band. And this doesn't really look good because it won't be in the middle of the labeling band. It will be pushed to the right side, very close to the right side. And that just doesn't look really pleasing. So put a spacebar after your word that you want to label and then cut the word. You will thank me later. But of course, I also use other tools, other labeling tools. I can't use the DYMO Omega, sadly, for everything because sometimes the band doesn't glue on the surface of the item I want to label, and therefore I use other labeling tools. The first one should be a no-brainer. You should already have it in your disposal. It's an Edding. I would recommend to buy a black edding and a white edding and various other colors if you want other colors. But the black edding and the white edding, you can basically label everything with it. I use a white edding, for example, to write labels on my notebooks. I think this looks pretty cool. I'm a big fan of this. And yeah, an edding should be no-brainer. You probably already have it and you can start labeling right now. The next tool I use to engrave things in metal is a Dremel. I can actually show it to you. So this right here is a Dremel. It's very, very, very loud if you want to use it. So I would recommend to wear ear protection with this device. You should also be careful when using this device, not necessarily because this is a very dangerous device. It isn't really, but whatever you engrave is permanent and it's hard to fix. I would recommend to always test before you do the real job with the Dremel. Just, find a metallic surface or an item that you don't care about and try to engrave something in there, because it's actually not that easy as you would think. Let me tell you that. So pretty nice thing if you want to engrave something in metal, the Dremel. There will be a link in the description. I mostly use the Dremel to engrave the times, my running times for certain events like half marathons, marathons. I engrave those in the metals myself because I don't want to pay those 20 euros to have my time engraved. I can just do it myself with the Dremel. Just do it yourself and get a Dremel. Pretty nice device. Pretty loud though, like I said, so don't forget your ear protection. Next up, something similar to the Dremel, at least in that it's permanent. It's a branding iron, or maybe you could also use a soldering iron. I would recommend a branding iron though. With this one, you can brand in labels on wood, leather, plastic, for example, although you should not breathe in the fumes that come from leather and plastic, but you can brand leather and plastic with those branding irons. I really don't use the branding iron that often, but it's still pretty handy. If you really want to brand something permanently into, I don't know, something like this, like a plastic surface, like this Victorinox knife, you can do it with this pretty precisely. So yeah, branding iron recommended. It's not that expensive. I will have a link in the description and you can do a lot of stuff with it if you dare, because it's permanent. Don't forget that. And the last labeling tool I can recommend to you is actually a sewing kit. Because if you want to label clothing, for example, you can do it with an edding, but it doesn't really look that good and it will probably wash away and then it will look even worse. So I don't recommend an edding, even though you can use it theoretically. Just use a sewing kit. You can sew in a name or you can sew in the date at what you received your piece of clothing. It won't look perfect, but you will get better over time and it's pretty personal. So if you want to gift a piece of clothing to someone and sew in the name of this person, it's a pretty cool gift. I really enjoy it, and yeah, a sewing kit is underrated for labeling clothing, I would say. And also, you know the drill by now, you should test it before you do the real job. So there are 3 important rules with labeling you should remember after watching this video. The first one you have already heard a few times. It's always test before you do the real job. The second one is be sure that you want to label the item you want to label, especially if it's permanent. And the third one is, and that's the most important one, for the rest, use the DYMO Omega, because it's just a great tool. If you want to buy any of the tools, links are in the description. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you haven't checked out my everyday carry video, you can check this one out here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe.